Yo, what's up? It's Rev. I make music as summer starved, record producer, songwriter, joyful noise chaser. This video was inspired by Warren Lane. I had a conversation with him on Renoise episode 4. He loves Radiohead. He knows how to play every single song. He's a music teacher, a music theory nerd, has a really successful YouTube channel, so you should check him out. When I asked him about workflow, he had a really interesting thought that I knew I had to try. So I'll let him say what he says, and then I'll go into Ableton and we can take it from there.
I love playing guitar with a drummer, and especially in these like pandemic times, like I love the sound of not playing to some cold sounding metronome, but with like a beat that I create. I have a set of like groove templates too. Sometimes I'll like play with the timing a little bit and get a little bit of micro timing in there and just like get a human feel going on. And I'll set up like, I have a jazz kit. I have like a hip hop kit. I have a John Bonham rock kit. And I have like an 808 909 and then the Boss DR110 kit. So I just like set up like 4 different drum racks and make that my default set. So like anytime I open up my Ableton software, these 4 drummers are gonna play with me, whatever I tell them to play in MIDI. So that's like an easy trick to get.
All right, we're here in Ableton, and I'm going to experiment with multiple drummers in one setting, acting as if I have 4 or 5 bots or people playing drums and experimenting with that. So the first thing that I'm going to do actually is open up in Ableton. There is a really amazing device called the Drum Rack. Okay, what you see here is the Drum Rack. And if you look in closely, all these are assigned to a certain MIDI note. So if you're on a keyboard or a Ableton Push or whatever, if you press a certain note, this drum rack is assigned to it. So what I'm going to do is quickly go into my samples and set up a really basic drum kit. Here are my samples. I've collected them over the years. I'm going to go into kick. Okay, got a bunch of different kicks here. Okay, that one's good. I'm going to assign that to C. What I did there was bring in the Ableton Simpler, and it dropped it onto this particular note. So when I hit this, it's going to play that kick that I dropped in there. If you go to controls, you can kind of control the transposition. You can also do that here. So we'll keep it there. Fade in, fade out. As you see here, it'll cut off the end. It'll do that, okay? So I'm going to quickly set up a basic drum rack. I will speed this up for time. Cool. Okay, so now that I've set up this drum rack, what I'm going to do is just basically set up a simple beat kick. You can press this button here, which then allows you to, as you click on these little notes here, you can hear what you placed on the different drum triggers. So we'll do kick on 1, we'll do snare or rim on 2. Okay, let's hear it. Okay, basic beat. If I press the B tool, turns this into a drawing tool. If I right click or command here, what I can see is this fixed grid. So I can do 8th notes. It's set right now to 16th notes, but I'll do 8th notes, and then I'll draw in a basic hi-hat pattern. Very simple. Okay, very boring. So I'm going to click that, and then if I hold command or control, I can actually go down and bring the velocity down for all of them. If I click on this, it selects them all. If I click on individual ones, I can command control hover over it and then control the velocity of each individual note. Okay, so then I want this one to be actually open hi-hat there. So it'll sound something like this. cool. The other thing I like to do is if I click on this, I just clicked on the rim, controller command, and then the arrow button to the left, what it does is going to take it, just nudge it off the grid. Or I can grab it and move it. Give it a little human feel. Okay, so that's our first drummer, all right? He's probably drunk and doesn't get gigs because he doesn't show up on time, but he does have a certain charm to him. Okay, so I hit Command R and I will name this drunk drummer. Okay, so I just renamed the drunk drummer. And as I play this clip, you'll see down here, it's highlighting the MIDI notes that are being played here. Okay, so you can kind of see it going. Okay, but what's cool now is we'll introduce a better drummer. This one shows up on time, has better manners. She's in the pocket all the time. Anyway. Okay, so what I did is just hit Command G. And what that did was group this drunk drummer into an instrument rack, which means if I press this button here, it opens up this instrument rack. So we're going to call this instrument rack multiple drummers. Okay, so I got the drunk drummer here. I can control the volume, panning, turn it on and off, or solo it. So what I'd like to do is actually go into my drums and find a better drummer who is, let's say, 606 core kit. Drop that in. So now you see here is drunk drummer and then 606 core kit. If I hit play, what's going to happen is that this is going to play that same beat on two different drum racks. So I have drunk drummer playing in the left, and then I have the core kit playing in the center or in the right. Okay, so you have different kind of playing the same pattern, which is pretty cool. So I'll go in here and bring in this dry session kit and have her play along. .606, dry drummer, drunk drummer. Okay, so you basically have three drummers. Warren said he doesn't play them all at the same time. So how would you do that? Well, you could turn off them by clicking there. So you just have the dry session. Bring in the 606. Subtle to taste. I'm just changing the volume here. And then what about the drunk drummer? So you hear him going on there. All right, so that was my attempt to have multiple drummers in one session. So I hope that was helpful for you. A lot better than playing to a click. You can set up the drums, get a little bit of a vibe going, and then you're off and running writing songs, which is what I'm all about. If that was helpful, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hopefully I can do some other things that will be useful for you in your workflow. And yeah, y'all, keep making noise. Peace.